Is now.
Okay.
We are live on Facebook. Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. We are live. Okay. So welcome. Good morning, everyone, and happy Valentine's Day. I want to just send out a special Valentine's Day for everyone, whoever's watching either through Facebook Live, who will be joining us through Zoom. We have so many things happening today that to just kind of like close this beautiful heart that we're forming with everything we're learning today. So, process and mastering self-love. I'm just going to do a review since it's just JB and I today. So it'll be perfect. We have that time to just go through each slide from Friday, Saturday, and then we're going to bring it all together today on Sunday. So we're going to go through each slide, repeat some of the exercises, and just kind of go through it. So then that way you could, when you're taking notes, make sure to have a notebook and pen handy. Take some notes today and kind of just go through the process with us and see what you get. And then also, continue the process afterwards on your own if you would like, and just kind of continue with your notes. And, again, if there's any questions that come up afterwards, feel free to reach out to us. We have our website, dualdragons.com, and also our email, which is jbr@dualdragons.com, and our business number, you could call or text if you would like to set up a session or even a Zoom if you cannot, if being present to receive hands-on is not convenient or okay. We respect everyone's boundaries, especially during COVID. You could either do hands-on, we do wear double mask, or you can do a via Zoom, a 30-minute consultation where we could just kind of do some work with you and, answer your questions.
And hopefully give you guidance to people near you or
exactly
who to look or how to look them up for similar services.
Correct. And then again, we are Dual Dragons. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm JB. And as you can tell, we're holistic wellness consultants, also known as the Muscle Whisperer. So let's get this party started. So we're currently going to be sharing the processes we actively use now, and then in between, if there's time, we'll be suggesting other practices that our other healers or clients have shared that works for them. There's no one perfect practice, hence we try to give you somewhat of a structure what we use, and then always suggest to consider others. Because yes.
And like I always say, a team is better than just one alone. You could always, when you have a team of support, it always is very helpful.
And like I mentioned before, if you are following the series, yes, you do the work, because nothing's going to happen. The healers, the facilitators, the medical doctors, no one can help you. It's up to you to do internal work.
We're here for support.
We're here for support. We also are here to recognize, kind of help you elevate.
So definitely, we really want to just emphasize, just to again, if you just joined, have some paper, a pencil, just to take some notes. We're going to review all our slides from Friday, Saturday, and today, and do some of the exercises. So you definitely want to take some notes for yourself, and then just kind of like see the process. Sorry about that. Okay. So first exercise we did on Friday was identify your why. So we're going to take a couple minutes. We're going to do the meditation again. We're just going to take a couple minutes. And what I want you to do is, as you're meditating, I want you to ask yourself, why is self-love important to me? Why is it important? We need to have that why. So we're going to take a couple minutes, and what we're going to do is we're just going to do a body scan, and I'll lead you through it. So everyone get comfortable. Take a couple of deep belly breaths.
In through the nose.
Now we're going to start at the feet. And just kind of get a sensation of your feet on the ground. Do they feel heavy? Do they feel light? Is there any aches or pains? Just take some mental notes and ask yourself again, why is self-love important to me? Just get a sensation of your feet at the moment. Focus at the feet. Now get a sensation of the ankles. You're slowly going up the feet to the ankles. From the ankles up to the knees. Nice deep breath at the knees. And ask yourself again, why is self-love important to me? Just get a sensation of how you feel up to the knees. Keep your focus on the body, on how it feels. Now from the knees, go up to the hips. And as you go around your hip, just kind of explore it. Explore that root area. That is the root chakra there. See that beautiful red light just turning there, keeping us grounded. And ask yourself again, why is self-love important to me? Take a nice deep breath.
In through the nose.
Now we're going to slowly climb up our spine, starting at our tailbone. We have our root. And as we slowly make our way up to each vertebrae, we're starting at the bottom. We go up to our orange chakra, where we carry all our emotions. And then slowly we kind of go up a little more to the core, mid-back, to our yellow chakra. You're lighting up the trunk of your body, vertebrae by vertebrae, as you go along the spine, lighting up each chakra. Now we're kind of in between our shoulder blades, where our heart chakra is. Now imagine this beautiful emerald green color there. And slowly make your way up to the base of your neck, where our throat chakra is located. And just visualize this beautiful blue light there. Again, now just focus on the trunk of your body. How does it feel? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel light? Any aches or pains? Just take a mental note. Visualize the colors of the chakras, just glowing these beautiful light. From the bottom, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Take a deep breath. Now slowly go outwards to the collarbone, to the shoulders. From our shoulders, go down to your elbows. From your elbows, down to your wrists. Down to your hands. And as your hands lay on your legs, if you're sitting, turn your hands palm up. And as your palms are exposed upwards, visualize this beautiful magenta light. This magenta light is to activate our hand chakra. And as this beautiful magenta light is circling, and just continue receiving that chakra energy. How does that feel? Just continue receiving. Leave your hands in that position as you continue receiving. Now slowly make your way up the elbow, up to the shoulders again, back to the neck, where our beautiful blue chakra is. Slowly make your way up the neck to your jaw. Right where our jaw begins, we have our ears. Now I want you to visualize this beautiful aqua color. Let's activate our ear chakras so we could hear the messages from our spiritual guides clear, without any confusions or doubts, and at the same time to help us clear our mind. This beautiful aqua color. Now go down the jaw. Let's all just take a nice swallow. Get a sensation of your throat and your jaw. I want everyone to take a deep breath. And now let out this big yawn so you could expand your jaw. Oh, doesn't that feel looser now? Just being able to open up that jaw. Now slowly make your way up the skull, right where, let's go to the front of our skull where there's that hollow space for our eyeballs, and then right above our eyeballs, we have our eyebrows, and right above there we'll see our beautiful violet light for our third eye chakra. Activate that. This is to help us see clearly the now. We always say that the third eye helps us to see what comes ahead. And the way I like to explain the third eye is it's not like a psychic ability. It helps us to see clearly the choices that we're making now. That will affect our tomorrow. So that's what the third eye is really helpful for. Just to give us a clear vision of the choices you make today that are for tomorrow. And to help you see clearly how that choice will play out. And as slowly as we get to the top of our skull, slightly go above, and you can see our beautiful white chakra just floating above us. Now imagine that beautiful white chakra just turning like almost like a beautiful tornado, but this is not hurtful. It's a very beautiful, safe tornado. It's like this beautiful wind just swirling around you. You've probably seen them sometimes when you're walking and you'll just see these leaves all of a sudden just spin upwards and then just fly back down. Very soft and gentle. So beautifully, it's almost like a dance with the wind. So imagine you're dancing with that wind right now. This beautiful white light is swirling around your body from your head down to your toes like a cocoon to protect you, to keep you safe. Now, remember we were working with our hand chakras? Let's go back to that beautiful magenta color. You could see them clearly now. You have like almost like this ball of magenta energy just floating around there. Take a deep breath. Slowly open your eyes. And what I want you to do now is with your hands, with that beautiful energy that you've collected, just shower your hands over you. Put it in your skull, that beautiful energy. Just kind of like rub your arms. Just put it everywhere. Like if you were coloring yourself, like hand paint, with this beautiful magenta, just color yourself all this through your body, your back, wherever you felt any ache or pain, just put it there.
So this is referred to as an energy massage.
Yes. So this is an energy massage, just, and then whatever's left, just put it right here at your heart. Give it to your heart. All that extra energy. You have plenty, believe me. We are beings of energy, and there's plenty of energy for us.
And as you embrace this energy in your heart, again, ask yourself, why is self-love important to me?
Yes.
And if something comes up, go ahead and take notes. It could be a
Yes.
song, it could be a memory, it could be a plant, whatever comes up. Just
It
go
could
ahead.
be something simple as
Cup of tea.
a cup of tea, or a moment where you're alone and you could just feel at peace. If you're reading, laying in your bed, watching a certain show where you could just kind of zen out, or a song.
And just to share a little something that came up for me right now, the word acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a simple light blue screen with the word acceptance. And that's what I got when I did place the excess energy from the energy massage over my heart and ask this question.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something for me to explore.
And like I had mentioned on Friday, my why, it kept saying, why is self-love important to me? And I kept answering, why not? Was my answer to my why. Why not? Why is it not important? It is important. So now we're going to move on to the next slide. Commit. Now we took some time. We meditated on our why. Some of you got answers, some of you did not. That's okay. You could do this later on. And now that you have your answer, if not, I want you to hold yourself accountable to commit to reaching your goal of self-love. And what I mean by that is taking time for yourself every day and just commit to this question again. Why is self-love important to me today? And every day as you ask that question, just take time to meditate on it. Just for like what we did right now. It was a simple, 5 minutes that we meditated? Simple 5 minutes. Just take that time for yourself to commit every day. And just hold, like in the picture here, hold your heart. Give it that magenta color that from your hand chakra. And just hold your heart and give it that self-love every day for 5 minutes. And then we talked about forgive. So we're going to take some time now to meditate on self-forgiveness. And what we're going to do is we're just going to, again, go through the body and try to feel certain areas in your body where there's aches and pains. Sometimes they have an emotional charge, or they're holding something, whether it's you tripped and you kind of got angry at yourself for tripping, like, oh, how clumsy of me. Why did I trip? Now I'm going to hurt me. You're holding that energy there, that negative energy. Or it could be the time you bumped into someone that you didn't like and you attached that energy there on your shoulder when you bumped into them.
And of
Or,
course,
yeah,
we blame them. They're so rude. They push me. They hurt me. And it's kind of challenging if you try to forgive the external versus going internal,
internal.
forgiving yourself for holding that energy, holding that
Yeah.
story, holding that emotion.
So what we're going to do now is, again, we're going to do a quick meditation. We're going to start from the top. And it's just going to be a quick scan. And wherever you feel that little ache or pain, or wherever you feel almost like an attachment, either it could be a chain or something that just links you to that a negative emotion.
Or pain.
Wherever you feel it, stop with your hands and then give it some love and say, I forgive you. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I love you. And this is for yourself. You're forgiving yourself right now for holding on to that. And we could also add the Ho'oponopono mantra. I love you.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I release you.
I release you.
I accept you.
I accept you.
So we're releasing the negative
Our
and
past.
accepting our positive reinforcement that we added there. So this is a good exercise that you can do for yourself for self-forgiveness. Forgiving yourself for holding on to old beliefs that maybe are not true for you anymore. And it's time to let them go. It's time to shed them off and be able to move on. And that's what this is for. So why is forgiving yourself an important part of this exercise? It gives you an opportunity to move on, move forward on your path of healing and love. Now that we've done those two exercises, now we're going to take our power back. And what I mean by that is sometimes we don't realize that we've been giving.
Even our hearts.
Even our hearts. And in the process of all that giving, we have received hurt, pain. But now I want you to take ownership, like, I made a mistake. I gave too much of myself without remembering that I come first. So take that power back. Take that moment to take that power back and say, from now on, I am now going to create this change for myself, not for anybody else, but for myself. And this, whatever feels true for you, is true. What does not feel true anymore, it's time to release that and let that go and just own what is yours to create from there on. So I like for you to visualize this picture of you just laying on this ground and just visualize this beautiful heart energy just going around you. And this is your power. This is your power for you to be able to create change within yourself. Remember, we are not responsible for anyone else's feelings or emotions, only ourselves. So to create change is for ourselves only. And now, again, Like the picture here, it's beautifully made. You see these chains on the side, and as the chain is broken, you see these birds just fly towards the light. And this is a way of letting go. If you have a hard time letting go, visualize whatever you're holding on to. Visualize it as this chain. Like what I sometimes describe to our clients, it's almost like your jewelry box fell down and all your necklaces got tangled. And they're so tangled, and you don't even know how to start or where to begin to detangle each one without breaking them. But you know what? Some of them are going to break, and it's time to let them go. And other ones will be able to detangle nicely, and you'll be able to hang it back up, but with a new perspective of appreciation. Like, you know what? I've worn this chain for a long time, and I appreciate the lesson it gave me. Thank you for teaching me this lesson. Like I said, there's some chains that you'll be able to just hang back up and just appreciate it with a new perspective. And then there's other chains as you're detangling them that will break, and it's time to let those go. So this is that exercise of letting go anything that is not serving you for your highest good.
So it says right here, relationship, friendships, habits.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and make a list. Don't title the list. Just list all your friends, list all the habits you recognize, list all the friendships you have that are not considered your inner circle.
Relationships.
And then think about it, whether for the day or for the week. Take them out of the box, and who are you engaging with constantly? Do you add value to them as they add value to you?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you being disrespectful and taking just their energy, or take advantage of them? Or are they being disrespectful? Or are they taking just from you? Is that a healthy relationship? Is that a healthy flow for give and take? And maybe consider honoring yourself for removing them from the list and replace it with something that's give and take. As much as you give is as much as you take, as much as you take, as much as you give, as Joanne said.
Yeah. So you want to replace whichever toxic people you have in your life with good people. Find that support team that you know will hold you accountable and ask you every day, how are you doing today? I'm here for you. Whenever you need me, I'm here for you. Those are good people. Those are the people you want around. The ones that are not worried about having a friendship based on what you give me or what I get from you. So replace also destructive habits with good habits. If there's a certain habit that you've noticed that is not so good for you, replace it with a good one, slowly but surely. Again, make a list of whatever habits, friendships you have, and work through that process of making sure to, again, now you have the power to create change within yourself and your environment and what surrounds you.
And don't be surprised that some of these people, unfortunately, have family, and just being vulnerable with you guys. In more recent events, I'm dealing with the passing of my grandfather, and with one of my aunts. She's trying to take control in an unhealthy capacity to make it difficult for any of us to kind of go see the burial or funeral of my grandfather. And then some of even her kids that carry on that behavior. And they're the few people I kind of talk to every once in a while. But it's recognizing, honoring myself. Like, I cannot force them or encourage them to change. We were connected at one point until they see my positive, uplifting posts, and now we're not friends, and that's okay. So sometimes those closest friends or family members, you're gonna have to say, okay, I'm doing it for me. It's not beneficial for me to have them in my presence. What's gonna make me happy so I could give as much happiness I have? I could share those with those that matter, whether in your inner circle, your community, your work, the relationships with your clients or your coworkers or employees.
And when you release these people, release them with love.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you can do. Almost like
I love you for the lessons you taught me.
Yes, I love you for the lessons you taught me, but it's time for me to let you go. And you release them slowly, almost imagine them as this bird. They're on their own journey. And whether you don't believe it's the right journey for them, you can't make that decision for them. So all you can do is just visualize them as this bird and say, I let you go now on your journey, and I will send you off with love. And that's all you can do.
And similar with destructive habits, like
Mhm.
we're all humans in myself. One of the things is, what would you say my most recent lesson of destructive habits I
Being, I don't know. You think of that one.
had?
I'm like, wait, I'm like, I don't know.
There's quite a few things because no one's
Yeah, there's
perfect.
quite
It
a
depends on
few.
the trauma you grew up with and the lessons you held on to or not let go, vice versa.
Mhm.
Some of the destructive habits, again, I did not recognize for years. And it just kind of, for my family, it came off like I was disconnected and not genuinely wanting to be present. But realistically, for me, it's like when I went, say, visit my brothers, I almost like pass out all the time. It's like whether I exhaust myself from driving all night because one of them was in Arizona, or which was like a 6 hour drive, and just felt safe where I needed just to kind of disconnect. And again, that's for them for the
Mhm.
longest time. It's like, why am I even there if I'm just gonna go there and sleep? Or when I go to talk, all I talk about was my journey of personal development, not so much being present with them in that moment to like, what can we plan? What can we create?
Or even asking them, how are you today? I want to hear about your story. And that was that was one of the things that your brothers brought up, that they never felt your presence because you were just there to just be there, but you were not there for them. And then that once we were able to heal that, their relationship has changed so much. So
Now we're able, like before the last couple of years, it was like maybe one family event where we do it, raise hell and move mountains for us to come together. And this
and now
past
it's
year,
easy.
it's easier now. The last year we did three, even with the lockdown, being safe. We did what we could so that we could be in each other's presence.
Hmm.
So as you make space for better habits or healthier habits,
Yeah.
and again, you don't have to label them as destructive or bad. Just they don't serve you anymore.
Yeah.
It's
What
just
doesn't serve you? Next one. So again, surround yourself with good. Immerse yourself with uplifting people who truly love you, support you, respect you, and who serve you in your highest good. You just really, whether it's one or two, maybe it's just one particular person that
one
could
book,
help you.
one
In
song.
and yeah, it's just sometimes it's just that, or it could be several. It doesn't matter. It's just choose wisely that one person that you know that will be there for you with love, and not enable you, but lift you, will hold you accountable, and not let you get away with things to continue going downhill, and say, hey, nope, I see you going down, get up. It's time for you to get up.
And I can only say there's only a handful of people that do that to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of shocked and blessed and thankful that they still consider me a friend or a close acquaintance to give me their time of day, to give me the energy to kind of almost like slap me in the face to wake up sometimes from me being distracted with
Mm-hmm.
a behavior or habit or a relationship that doesn't serve me, which then doesn't serve me to be presence, and they distance themselves, but they still come back, and I'm really grateful for them, especially like this one.
So now for today, we're going to practice self-compassion. We tend to be our worst critics. We, ourselves, we are our worst critics instead of being our best friend. So that's one part of ourselves that we need to forgive. Like, I'm so sorry for being so critical or mean to myself. It's like you really want to treat yourself the way you treat others. And you want to talk to yourself the way you would like to be talked to.
And this is one of the tools we share with our clients and we use on ourselves is that's an interesting point of view. A certain thought or belief comes up like, damn, why did I do this? Or I'm so clumsy or careless. If you catch yourself, that's an interesting point of view. Now you can either just kind of let it fly away, like we mentioned ago, like a bird, just, or you want to sit down and process it, take a cup of coffee or tea, just kind of why and explore. But there's no need to go down a rabbit hole and sit there for hours or days.
Yeah.
It's just a quick moment.
A quick moment. Like I always say, it's okay to be angry for a moment. It's okay to be sad for a moment. But from that moment, again, you have the power to create change. So from that moment, you say, okay, I got mad. I felt it. I embraced it. I'm done with it. It's time to release it. What did I learn from it? Okay, I got sad. Why am I so sad? What is this really about? What is it? Why am I reacting to this? Or why am I attaching to this sadness?
Another tool we use is what's the block positive desire? If we're sensing so much negative energy or emotions, what's the block positive desire?
And what does block positive desire mean? Is what is it? What is that desire of positive that you're blocking, that you're just not letting yourself feel
or see or do? And that's what we always refer to the trinity of mentally, emotionally, physically. Because sometimes we're so like energetically blocked in one or two, but the third one is the only opportunity for you to explore and loosen up that grip.
And then again, take care of your needs. So again, we talked about the body, the mind, your spirit are your emotions, what you're feeling. So now we're going to take a couple minutes to meditate. And as we're meditating, I want you to take care of yourself. So we're going to do a body scan again. And this time, wherever you feel any ache or pain, wherever you feel some, maybe like as you're going through your body, if you see a little dark patch, energy dark patch, just kind of stop there and give it light. So again, we're going to use our hands this time. I'm going to back up a bit. We're going to use our hands. And I want you again, raise your hands up, palm up. Receive that beautiful magenta color from your higher self, from your higher source that is always there for you. If you believe in God, ask God for that energy. If you believe whatever your religion is and what is your belief and what is true for you, receive it from that higher source. And as you're receiving that magenta color, now I want you to slowly put your hands on top of your head and just kind of do again that energy massage. And just slowly go down, and wherever you feel an ache or pain, stop there for a moment. For me, it's my neck. So I'm going to stop at my neck and just give it that beautiful magenta energy for healing. And I'm going to take a deep breath. So wherever you stop, you want to just take nice deep breaths. And then again, slowly as you feel done, move down, go along your arms. If you feel anything, stop. If not, continue. Wherever you feel, if you feel it in your heart, stop at your heart. If you feel it on your tummy, stop at your tummy. If you feel it in your low back, stop. Just put your hands on your low back and stop there. If you feel it in your hip, your knees, your ankles, your feet. So I'm going to give everyone a minute wherever you have stopped. Just breathe.
Again, if something comes up, go ahead and write it down. Maybe your body's asking you to get up more. Maybe it's asking you to walk. Maybe your mind's asking you for some silence. And what does that mean? It could be from reading a book, listening to music, watching a movie, having a deep conversation with someone close or intimate. Maybe your emotions are asking for permission to flow rather than being stuck. Just explore, write down your notes. And like for my wife, it's easy for her to sit down and be quiet and receive. And for me, as you can see, I'm kind of fidgeting. For me, my way of meditating or clearing my mind is when I go run.
Mm-hmm.
What is yours? Take note and see if you could create that space, that environment again, for you to clear your mind while you're playing music, writing music, walking the beach, walking in nature, drinking a cup of coffee. Everyone has declared a certain activity or behavior or environment that is serene and silence your mind. So,
And yeah, and like what it says here, you also want to take time when you have a chance to write a list of activities, things that you do to take care of yourself, whether it's a massage or a run or yoga or meditation. I want you to make that list and then think, is this enough? Do I feel satisfied? Do I feel like I really get something out of this? Or does it feel short or long term, the effect of whatever you do for yourself? And the reason I'm bringing this up because I really want everyone to take the time to search of what feels good for you, what feels satisfying, what feels long term, because those are the ones we want. If it doesn't feel good, if it's not satisfying, if it's not enough and it's too short, then we need to look for something else.
and then again, acknowledge your vocabulary.
Mhm.
I have a friend, being the personal development, I got trained that you have to use the best word or explicit or fantastic. So when I have a friend that came from a foreign country background and he kept on saying, I'm good, I thought he was just okay. Because my perception of what okay, good, better, and best is not the same. But for him, good means he felt great and fantastic. But the way he delivered, and then my perception, the way I viewed life, I thought he was down here, not say below me. So just recognize your vocabulary. Recognize the people in your life that you might be sharing this journey with, their vocabulary. Acknowledge that their value of the vibration they carry
Mhm.
may be the same as you, but just because they use a word that's lower on your vibration or your perception doesn't mean they're down there.
Okay, and again, setting healthy boundaries. This is very important. You know, this is a very hard exercise for many people to do. It's very hard to set those healthy boundaries.
As simple as it is.
As simple as it is, and it's very simple as drawing the line on the sand. It's that simple, but it's the hardest thing to do. It's hard to pick up that stick and say, I'm sorry, but I need to draw the line because this is not a healthy relationship. And I remember, I'm going to share a story. I remember I love my dad. My dad is he has a lot of demons, but he's a good person at heart. And I can't complain. He put a roof over my head, food on the table, clothing on me. I mean, he was the best provider you can think of. But his words were harsh. He had, oh, when he would be mad and he would talk to you, those words were like knives. And I remember he would always be this very explosive man. And as time grew up, as I grew up, I started resenting more and more. I started growing with anger and just being so angry with him and just thinking like, this is not fair. I'm a good daughter. Why does he treat me this way? And as much as I wanted to keep that relationship, as much as I wanted to fix it, again, I had to remind myself, I'm not responsible for his behavior, his actions, the way he spoke to me. But I did have the power to create change within myself. And the day I did that was a day I came home, and by this time I was a mom. My daughter was, I believe, 3 or 4 at the time. And I remember I came home to pick her up because my mom was watching her. And I was just sharing this experience at work where I was just like, oh, something happened and I don't feel good about it. The situation that's going on at work, I just feel like maybe I need to get out of that job. It's just I'm not happy no more. And I remember just sharing what was going on with my mother, and my dad was listening in the distance. And then he came up to me and he started yelling at me. And I was just shocked because he was yelling at me like if I did something so wrong. And my daughter was there. And when I saw that, I said, what are you doing? You're repeating the cycle, and now your daughter is seeing this. And now she's going to grow up thinking she did something wrong. Now she's going to grow up thinking it's okay to be yelled at. Now she's going to grow, and that's when I said, enough. For the first time, I stood up to him and I said, enough. You will not speak to me ever again in that tone of voice in front of my daughter, ever again. And he stopped, walked away, and I was like, and I had to take a moment like of shock realization of what I had done. Like, wow, he stopped. I was like, whoa. And then he came back and wanted to yell again. And I said, no. I said, no. You need to walk away now. And I grabbed my daughter and I walked away. And that day on, I drew the line on the sand. And now, thankfully, because I did that, because I set that change for myself, I have now, thankfully, a healthy relationship with my father. I taught him to respect my boundaries. And because I spoke to him in a loving way, and I lost respect for him before then. But the minute I took my power and recognized I needed to hold myself accountable for also letting that relationship evolve in that way, there was a shift, there was a change. And now this man comes to me and will text me. My father will text me like, hey, especially during COVID, do you need anything? Because he's an elderly man now, he has access to go to the stores early to get, toilet paper. And for the first time, I got to see my father in a different way. I was able to see my father in love. I was able to forgive. I was able to let all of that go. So much anger, so much resentment. For the first time, I felt those chains just fall. No longer did I have to carry all that. No longer did I have to pick up my fist to fight. No longer did I need to feel defensive. No longer did I need to feel that I was not loved, because I was loved. And my perception has changed, because then I understood hurt people hurt, and he was hurting. And he didn't mean to hurt me. And I understood that. And when you're able to move beyond that,
To break the chain, the cycle that you carry on your lifeline or your bloodline in your family.
is where I saw the biggest change. And now I could say clearly and with peace in mind that I broke that cycle for my daughter. She has a voice, not like me when I was growing up, where I felt too scared to speak up. She speaks up loud and clear. No, mommy, I don't like that. What are you thinking, mom? No, that's not I don't want to do that. She has a very, very powerful voice to tell me what she wants and what she doesn't want. And at the same time, this beautiful trust where she could come up to me and be like, mommy, I'm going through all these changes. What is going on? She's 10 going on 11. And just being able to see her come up to me and feel safe enough, and even with her father, to feel safe enough to come up to us and say, hey, I feel this. What is this about? Or what are these changes? And what's going on in my body? Or why do I feel grumpy? And it's when I see that relationship, I thank my higher source for giving me that opportunity to create that change, because
And I'm not sure if you picked it up, because she set this experience with her father,
mhm,
which then simultaneously that rippled into the relationship with her ex-husband, the
yes,
father of her daughter, because we were still challenged with him, just kind of dealing with she'll say one thing, he'll interpret it differently, and then we had to have a not so much a heated discussion, but we could feel
the
boiling the
tension, there was
tension.
a tension, and this tension has disappeared. And I'm just thankful that I've taken this time for myself to really work on myself. And when you're able to work within yourself and make those changes, you will be truly amazed how that just ripples out. You threw that little stone on the ground, you released it, and it ripples and it goes out, 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 out. And then you start seeing all these changes, all these opportunities come your way that you never thought were possible. It's a truly amazing work to do this, to be able to do this, and just to be able to experience the change and the opportunities and life-changing experiences, truly, for yourself.
And that's the impact you have. You holding on to this affects. When I
Mhm,
started this journey back in 2012 of personal development, so I was doing all this work mentally, and like I
mhm,
shared before, I emotionally suppressed it. So me personally, I wasn't seeing much change because I was still locked in my certain mindsets and motion sets, or lack of emotions. But I saw the changes in my brothers, I saw the changes in my family, everyone around me, but me. Is when you do the internal work from those three capacities, either mind, body, spirit, or mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever the trinity is for you, is when you start seeing the change within yourself. But you do all the work and you see the changes around you, it could give you signs that you are doing progress, but again, you haven't done it internally. Hence why your inner circle, your self, has yet to see the
yeah.
fruition.
And don't worry,
So don't worry about it.
if it takes long. Don't worry. Imagine yourself as this flower. Sometimes the flower takes a while to be able to bud. Sometimes it takes the flower a time to be able to start opening a bit. You will slowly emerge at your pace, and forgive yourself for trying to push it. It's like, just be patient with yourself. Give yourself that loving compassion, and knowing that okay, today was still a hard day for me, but I still have tomorrow to work on it some more. You know, give yourself that compassion of knowing, like, even if that today was not a good day, put that choice out there. Tomorrow, I will figure out a way to make it better for me. Okay.
Like I said, I started my journey back in 2012, and I barely saw any results, say, within myself. But it wasn't until I started developing the team or recognizing the importance of a team or a community to help me heal or grow about two
To
years
guide
ago
you.
to guide you from from a conscious perspective. Conscious and translated defined as being aware of everything but judge nothing.
Mhm.
So that when they give you recommendations, it's not with a biased intent for them, say, to purchase their product or service. It's them guiding you. This could help you if you choose this path.
Mhm.
And that's why you probably sense from most of us, like, we're not trying to tell you what to do or come get our services, is because we want you to be empowered, to recognize your own self-worth, to trust yourself, to trust your intuition.
Yeah.
Should you seek us for service or someone near you for service or a book or a song, it's developing that trust, the self-love,
Your
how your
intuition.
intuition. And this is what we want for you guys. And that's why one of the reasons why the Healer Roundtable, to bring other healers or people curious about healing, so that you can be exposed for different modalities, different techniques that might be more along with the vibration or where you are present,
Mhm.
to build your own community.
And with that, commit to daily love habits. I mean, daily acts of self love are a beautiful way to show yourself the love and respect and level of care you truly desire. And you'll see two sites here. We have the love languages. And if you have an opportunity, I highly recommend to click on the link.
They won't be able to click on it.
No, you won't be able to click on this link, but type it in 5lovelanguages.com. They have one for kids. They have one for if you're single, if you're in a relationship. They have for couples. And for they have one for teenagers. And I actually did the love language of my daughter, of myself, my husband. And then you also see another link there that you could click on. It's HTTP, or you could just type in crackmycode.com/dual dragons. And that one's a communication tool. And I know some of my guests here have already done it, where they participated on that and they already got the report. What it is, you're going to see 4 cards and each of them have values. And you're going to read through each card, and then you're going to click on the card and organize them in order of most like you to least like you. And what this is going to help you is to really realize the way you communicate for you. What is meaningful for you? And when you're able to recognize that we all have different ways of communicating, it helps you to learn to be more compassionate and realizing, like for myself, I am a high K nurture. But all my family were very high blueprints and nurturing. So we did bond in the nurturing part. But when it came to who we were and how we communicated was very differently, which would cause a lot of butting of the heads. Me with my high K and them with their blueprint, it was not. But once I took this assessment, it really helped me to understand how to communicate more successfully with my loved ones, especially when it comes to setting healthy boundaries or trying to really communicate with them what needs to change for yourself, for them to understand and not take it personally. And it's helped us greatly with our clients to make sure that our clients feel valued and respected and heard for whatever service they need and that they're receiving it.
like when we started Dual Dragons working a little over almost 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago,
Mhm.
we were first getting to learn the bank methodology in the sense of the values,
And banking means
the acronyms,
the acronyms: blueprint, action, nurture, knowledge.
which will be the Crack My Code. And so we're just kind of not really diving deep because our focus was trying to build up our clientele and just go to events to kind of bring awareness to our services and what we did. And a lot of them said, we love the service, we love the session,
That they would never reschedule.
never reschedule, never rebook, because yeah, we kind of knew surfacely their values in order, but we weren't reading in depth the training of each of the values, because someone that's a blueprint, they have triggers or landmines.
Mhm.
And if you don't, whether it's not being perception to it or choosing to be ignorant to not learn it, that was costing us a lot of lack of growth.
Mhm.
Probably, like I said, a lot of clients and the connections they talked about connecting us to never came to fruition because we never spoke their values or respected their values, depending how they perceived it, even though the response was continuously, we love the session, we want to do it again, but they never booked.
So it really helped us to kind of really see people as, instead of the cookie cutter. This tool really helps you see yourself as who you are and who the people around you are, and teaches you to kind of, gives you that awareness of how to communicate to each one in a more effective way where you get more results and a better relationship.
Yes, because again, instead of trying to cookie cut, it was you're authentically communicating in their vocabulary. You're not changing who you are. You're not changing your value. You're not dishonoring yourself. You're not manipulating or trying to be a chameleon. You're able to still be yourself and understand how they receive information. One loves structure. Another one wants quick results and the flashy, celebrity endorsements. Another is similar to us, the nerd want the communication and the community. And then those, like she kept on referring to, the knowledge, they just want to collect data, give me more information. I want to verify the research or science, whether you did the research for your specific technique or something similar to that. And that's where this leads us to the next one.
So I've been showing these pictures every day. So here's little Rebecca and little JB. And the reason why I call them that is because a lot of this work will be more successful if you do the inner child work. And we've been talking about working with your inner child. And so an exercise that I like to do is have you just select some pictures that bring some happy memories, or the last picture you remember yourself the happiest as a child, and just kind of like look at those pictures and talk to your little self and say, hey, what happened? We used to be so happy here. What happened? And your little child will be like, you stopped playing. That's what happened.
Or you stop listening.
Or you stop laughing and you stop being you. Why have you started, trying to be everybody else but you? So use the pictures of yourself to kind of talk to yourself and be like, and just remember those moments. Or if JB had a hard childhood, he'll remember, even if these pictures sometimes bring up those bad memories, he's able to pick that one moment where there was happiness. Like, oh, that dog, I remember that dog.
Blackie.
And but then there's that negative connection of how the dog passed
or transition to another
and it brings them sadness. So yeah, some of these pictures will do that, the duality where yes, it's a happy but also a bittersweet moment, and that's okay. They're lessons. So as you can see, I was a really wild child. I was just all over the place, hanging on trees, full of energy. And you see my husband here. I like what my daughter said. She saw these pictures and she said, wow, JB was a really cute boy. Not anymore, but he's a cute boy back then. It was so cute. The honesty of children. So again, here are the cards that we were talking about. This is the
physical cards.
the physical cards, and what I did is I put them in my order. So as you can see, I'm a high K. I'm knowledge, nurturing, action, blueprint. And the way the cards are in order, just to explain to you what they mean, your first card is who you are.
Your core value.
That's your core value person. This is who you are. Your second card is who you strive to be. So I strive to be more nurturing.
I strive to be more flexible.
He strives to be, yes.
Action and competitive.
Mm-hmm. And then our third card only comes out when we're stressed. So when I'm stressed is when I go into action. When I'm in that stressful moment, I'm like, okay, what do I need to do to get out of this? Oh, no. Okay, taking action. And for him, it's getting data and research and information to help him de-stress. And then the last card only comes out when it benefits you. So only when it benefits you, for example, myself and my husband, only when it benefits us, we'll go into blueprint mode. When we need to kind of do a structure or process, maybe it's when we're both working on our business plan or our business is when we have to go into blueprint, only when it benefits us. And then as you can see, my daughter is blueprint first. So that's where some of the clashing occurs. So my blueprint is at the end and hers is number one. So I have to remind myself, my daughter is blueprint.
She needs structure.
She needs structure. She needs rules. She needs all, all these things to help her function. So I have to, because I homeschool, and I'm glad for this because it's helping me to homeschool her to make sure that I do it in a certain order. But at the same time, she strives to be action, which is freedom and flexibility. So when I homeschool her, I do 2 books, and then I give her an hour break for her to just kind of let loose, be free. And then, okay, time to come back. 3 more books, structure. And then another hour break for her to just go, woo, release. And then, okay, come back and let's finish school. And we'll finish the last 3 books. And this has helped me to communicate with her successfully and be more successful in her homeschooling. And only when she's stressed is when she needs nurturing. So she is not a lovey-dovey, relationship kind of person. Only when she's stressed is when she needs nurturing. And her way of nurturing is rub my feet. Mom, can you please rub my feet? Or JB, can you rub my feet?
And it will make sense in a moment when we share our results for the
love languages.
The love language.
And only when it benefits her is the knowledge. So she is not an academic kind of child. For her, it's all about creativity and doing her thing, and she has a process. So those hours when she's free, her creativity is songs and singing. And it's so funny because even when she sings, it's very blueprint. She will repeat that song 3, 5, 6 times because she has to sing it that many times to accomplish it. So it's very interesting seeing who we are with these cards. And then what's more interesting is the love languages. So as you can see, my husband and I, we connect very well because our highest is physical touch. And then from there, for me, the second highest one is quality time. And it's the same for JB. No, yours is acts of service. So for him, it's acts of service and mine is quality time. And then the third one for him is quality time. And for me, it's words of affirmation.
And that's shifted from a year ago.
Yeah. And then the fourth one, then for me is active services. And for you is words of affirmation. And last, The one that we do not do is gifts. My husband and I are not like, oh, let me show my love with gifts.
Jewelry
We're
or
not that kind
the
of
newest thing. And again, using these
Mhm.
different assessments helped us really understand each other ourselves first, and then how do we communicate with our
Mhm.
significant other. And of course, recognizing her daughter,
I
her
know when I took the test with my daughter, it really correlated with the other cards where her love language is quality time. She just wants to know that you're going to be there for her. And that's her love language.
and sometimes she doesn't want us, well, at least for me, to engage with her. Like say play video games, she'll just be one there to
She
sit
just
there.
wants, yeah, she just wants that. She just wants to know that you're there. And that's her quality time, and that's her love language. And what's funny, because he tried to be very, huggy, lovey, and hers is last. Hers is physical touches last. So she, like, again,
It shifts.
it shifts, but it shows that only when she's stressed she needs nurturing. And here you could see physical touch is not her love language. So she doesn't need the hugs or the kisses on the cheek. She really likes more that quality time. So it just really shows you that sometimes most of the issues we have with either a partner or a family, or it's because we're just not speaking the same language. It's because we're not and that's all it is. And when you're able to see it in this format, then you're able to kind of like step away and say, oh, okay, now I know how to speak to my loved one without going to that place of bah, bah,
The
the
verge of
clashing.
separation or an unhealthy
Yeah.
conversation or a fight, in other words. Do you really need to fight?
Mm.
And we're not telling you to be submissive or roll over and just take it. No,
It's learning to respect each other,
your own values and
your
theirs.
values, what you love. And so I love these two tools that really help me see. And sometimes they will change. They will change with significant life changes, whether it's a death in the family, whether it's you had an accident.
Separation,
For
moving.
my sister, they changed when she went through her cancer journey. She was very blueprint, and now she's not. She's learned to open up and see things differently because of her cancer journey. So when there's significant life events in your life, this will change. Your code will change, and that's quite normal because you get a different perspective of yourself when things happen.
And there's countless of other personality assessments I'm pretty sure some of you have taken.
Yes.
And this is the reason why we were drawn to this one, because these are not so much once you're this, you're stuck forever. Other ones, they seem to give that notion that once you take the assessment, you're
You're
whatever.
this person forever, and it's not true. We have many life event change that changes. Life events change us. And that's and and sometimes you feel like, oh my God, I've changed. This is not who I am. But sometimes we need to be, again, compassionate with ourselves and realize that life events will change us, and especially if they're very significant in our life. And so it's just learning to adapt to what holds true to you and what's not true to you, and more, and learning to let those go, those old beliefs to new beliefs, and just embracing them. And with time, kind of feel yourself. It's almost like when you buy a new bed. When you purchase a new bed, at first it feels fabulous, but then the next day you're like sore and you're like, what happened? This bed feels good. I don't know if I did the right purchase. Well, it's because you're learning to adapt to the new bed, or like new shoes or a new bike, or you have to adapt. You have to kind of like give it that feel, give it that moment. And you have to do that with yourself too, because when you have life events, life changes, you have to learn to adapt to the new person you've changed into or morphed into. And so you kind of have to get that new feeling of that new change and just kind of like embrace it and feel it and see. And again, what's true for you, you could continue holding, and what doesn't feel true to you anymore, it's time to let go.
So simple example, I just started running nearly daily a couple of weeks ago, and my legs started hurting. It's like, I don't remember running this little and my legs hurting this bad. I only felt this pain when I was running 2, 3 hours, not when I was running a little 10, 15 minute, just kind of getting back into cardio, or at least to have that adapted to my daily ritual routine. At the same time, I prefer, like, I guess more of the night, evening, cool temperature. Again, not understanding, respecting my wife's value at the time was just frustrating her and caused some of the angst and the miscommunication where she felt night times are times like, but no, I want to run. So then I had to reset my clock, assess my life, and see, okay, running is priority for me and my health,
Mhm.
but also quality time with my wife. So where can I make the adjustments? And hence why we're sharing all these tools. And we mentioned to you before, you're going to gather these tools, either throw away or put aside those that don't apply to you now, and pretty much make shift your own tool and guidance. So we're at the time where are we gonna open up now?
Yeah, we're gonna open up. Let me stop share. And so what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna open up for questions. If anyone has any questions, and you're feel free to unmute. If not, just feel free to just listen in.
Or type your question in the
Or
chat
you
box.
could type your question in the chat box for any of us. Does anyone have a question? Hi. I just saw Mia. There we go. Do you have a question, Mia?
I'll think of one eventually.
Thanks. I know. I'm so glad. I'm glad that this is helping many of you, and I'm glad that you were all able to join in today and just kind of, like I said, some things will be true to you and some are not, and that's okay. It's okay. And I'm glad that this is helpful for many. But trying to think of stories to share. I mean, one of the stories to share is like I was talking, my daughter, JB, is not her biological daughter, child. I'm sorry, not his biological
Yes,
child.
I'm a girl.
And so for him, it was very hard at first to figure out how that relationship, and it was
because I have my experience of being in the military, and that form of
yes.
blueprint and discipline is not the discipline or blueprint I'm referring to as described by this program. It's
yes.
similar, yes, but not exactly the same, where it's really rigid and with the military, and you do what I say, not what I do kind of mentality, versus this blueprint is more like, okay,
yeah,
she's not 100% all the values. She's like a few of those.
And her blueprint is more of like, I just need to know what's going on next to feel
safe,
to
minimum
feel
risk, a change.
Yeah. So for her, it's more of a schedule blueprint. Like, I just need to know what's happening next and when I have time for myself and when I have to like actually do homework. So it was interesting seeing how he interpreted blueprint a different way from her blueprint. So that's another important thing. And that's what I love about these reports, because they really explain to you what the values mean, what are the triggers, what are the not the triggers,
Tripwires.
the tripwires. And he was sitting, it was funny because he was all like, I'm following blueprint. I'm like, no, you're not. Look, you're hitting all her tripwires.
Everything that was set off a blueprint,
he was hitting them on. I'm like, you're doing this, knock it off. But it was just interesting how that relationship has evolved, where now she feels comfortable. Like, she'd be like, JB, I need you to rub my feet, because she loves to have her feet rubbed. And that's something I did ever since she was born. I would always massage her feet, and I would sing to her. And it's just interesting, these little, like Joanna said, we don't come with a manual of how to raise, or what it is about us, how to raise us or how to talk to us. And we're not born with manuals, and our parents were not born with these manuals. So it's always interesting. For me, it was always interesting to see how this child of mine has her own personality and her own way of valuing things or viewing things. And it's so different from me, and it's so different from her biological dad, and it's so different from JB. And it's like, and just learning that we're all different, We're not all cut out from the same cookie cutter, and learning to be compassionate with each other and respect each other in that way, it always makes things better. And I think I'm hoping that this little stone and my video somehow will send out that ripple effect, because I see that we all need that right now. There's just so many people angry with each other. There's so many relationships being broken up just because of politics and in my head, and when I see this, I'm like thinking, why? Like, why are we doing this to each other? We need each other. We need each other. We need to love each other. We need to respect each other. And, and everyone's opinion is different, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And so that's just something I wanted to share. Do you want to share anything?
Oh, I just noticed a few people unmuted themselves. So do you guys have any questions, Bara?
I don't have a question. It looks like Mia does. I can share something if we run out of questions, but I'd like to hear Mia's question.
Oh, no, you go first, please. I share all the time.
Well, I was just gonna share my experience this last week. I think it's really amazing to me because it was really new to me this year, probably, to learn about how much is stored in the body and how our emotions and how much we can learn from our actual bodies. And I've kind of been on this journey of, I don't know, a spiritual journey, really just trying to get to know myself better, because my brain's been kind of taking over my life for so long. And I painted myself in a box as an engineer and a logical person, which I thought meant I wasn't a creative person, all this stuff. So I've been trying to break through all that stuff down. But it's hard because I get stuck in my head a lot. And the other day I went and saw Rebecca and JB. It was the second time that I saw them in real life. I've done also, they've helped me talk me through some stuff that's been really helpful online too. But this, or over Zoom, but this experience was really cool. And I didn't even tell them this, I don't think, because they were down at my feet at the time. But they were working on my feet and kind of guiding me through this exercise. And I don't know if this was what JB's intention was, but basically the state I was in was almost like I was kind of connected with my inner child, exploring through my body, sort of like a body scan, but just not going through each part, going to the parts that I was guided to, I guess. And I wound up in my right, focusing on my right foot, which seemed odd to me, kind of I was didn't expect to be there, And then I saw this childhood memory, this toy that I had when I was a kid, that I had not remembered this toy in 20 years at least. And JB had guided me through well, ask why this is there and what it wants. And it was I was seeing this to remind me of what I had thought of as a loss and a abandonment kind of. But it was there to tell me you weren't abandoned, you always had this love, this love is still there. And just giving me that and being able to focus on it and tell it to myself and my inner child, if whatever, it was so freeing, and it just made me so much lighter and able to experience the world differently. I feel more open and more loving. And since then, these exercises, I was surprised, because I always thought this journey, this self-love is really, I'm doing self-love, but that's so I can help others. And that's so I can, I have to check this box first. But then I found asking myself that question the other day, that's not why I need the self-love. It's for myself. I deserve the self-love, and it feels good to have self-love. And yeah, today it was just because that's why. And it's just so cool. And I don't think I would have gotten there. Well, sorry, I don't want to say anything like that, but working through my body was so helpful. And I mean, your guys' guidance was amazing too. And I feel awesome, by the way, a few days later still. So thank you so much for that. yeah, and for these roundtables. It's just so incredible what I learned here and from your guys' questions and all that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Then we have Sebastian.
Thank you. First of all, is it Bara or Bara? I don't want to say the name wrong. What you shared just now, there's a lot of that is happening right now for me. And, you spoke about self-love to be able to help others, but the realization that I needed it for me first is it has been such a change in my life. And I met you guys recently on Patty's session, and that was my first time ever daring myself to do something that I never believed in. I told you guys how I was walking into that space, coming from a place for 40 years saying, there is no God, there is no spirit. I used every expletive to sort of let people very clearly know that I'm an atheist. I don't believe in anything. Until for the first time, and I'm sorry I'm emotional, it is first time I questioned, like I felt something, and now I understand that I feel something about my dad after 21 years. It was scary because I thought I was going crazy. I just thought there's something wrong with me, that I'm seeing or feeling things. And today, as I came, I told you guys that I'll be in pain, but I want to do this. And I'm glad I did, because some of the things you said, I actually wrote down, 3 things. The tripwire, it's going to stay with me for a very long time, because what I realized in this entire thing is, and the moment you gave that word, you gave me the word for what I was trying to figure out, like, what am I doing to myself? And what I realized is, and I have been working on this since, early 2020, is I created lots of those tripwires around me. And I keep walking into them because, as you guys said, I keep allowing that to happen. The boundaries that I can see I need to create, I keep defying them, I keep dishonoring them, and that has been really difficult. Realization, as you said, Rebecca, it is hard to say no. But what I've also, in this just one last year, understood and realized is every single time I've said no, I have been so much more happier. And I have been so much more clear about what I don't need in my life. And Bara, as you were saying, it's your body, it does tell you. I did not know that at all. As I said, I didn't believe in so many things. It tells you when someone is not right for you. It tells you when something is not right for you. And I would always reject that, like, the typical, and pardon my, I'm Australian, I have a little bit of filthy language, but to me, it was all bullshit. When somebody said your body tells you, or intuition, I just didn't believe in it. I just rejected it outright. And as I said, I spent 40 years, and I remember as young as 3 years old, my mother tells me that when somebody spoke to me about God or spirit or anything, I just said, stop talking stupid. And I can't say I still believe in God, but I believe there's something out there that is helping me right now, that is taking me into this space. And more and more, I'm realizing that my body has always told me when something is not right for me. I just refused to listen because I was too busy trying to be something that the society wanted me to be, the groups wanted me to be, the people wanted me to be. But the biggest thing today I have, for the first time, realized, and I think I have been trying to figure out what to call it, is, you guys talk about trauma, but what I realize is there is somebody else's trauma that I have carried on into my life, and I didn't address it. And today is the first time I actually understand it. So my parents both have had a very traumatized childhood. I've heard all their stories. They have been very open as you talk about, your daughter is so, she speaks to you and she has that space that you've never had. So I've always had that space, but I also realized that my parents, but in their good intention, shared all their traumas with me, told me the stories from very early on. And for the first time today, I realized, because I felt sad for my parents, because I felt angry for my parents, I let that become my trauma. And I let that become my journey, because I've been very angry at my grandparents all my life for treating my parents the way they did. And right now, today in this session, I just realized that my parents shared that with me. So I know that I will never be treated that way. So I know that I'm so much more loved than they ever received. And I realized in that moment as well is, despite everything good my parents have done for me, they didn't know when I was going through something, when I was being abused, and I didn't have the courage to come and say, this is happening to me. And somewhere I blamed them for that, because they loved me so much that I didn't want to hurt them, that there's something is happening to me. And today I'm realizing I deprived them of an opportunity to help me heal, to help me. I don't have a term, but I realized that I stripped them of an opportunity they had to be an excellent parent that they have always been. And I stripped myself of the protection and the love and the kindness I was supposed to receive. And in that process, I became a person not realizing from that abuse over and over. I allowed abusive people to come back in my life again and again in different shapes and forms. And that went on. And I know that in 2012, I stopped that cycle because I, at that time, had realized that I am the one who's allowing these people. And I'm going to share with you guys, since then, I've never dated by intention. I've never met anybody with an intention. I wouldn't say I've refused to seek love, but I wanted the space for myself where I can just grow without needing anybody else. And that's what helped me professionally, personally, become a better person. I changed a lot. Anybody who knew me in 2010 and knows me now, it's not the same relationship, it's not the same person. But as I said, in the last 1 year, I've been experiencing and working through that experience, and both getting frustrated and scared, but also learning to accept that I'm not going crazy. I'm actually feeling something that I have been holding off and putting away for too long. So I want to thank you that, I will not forget the tripwire. I will not forget the tripwire. It is such a huge word for me at this moment, because that's what I realized. And as I said before I came in, that I'm in pain is because, I'll just close very quickly, is something happened today, which I saw coming for a while. And at first I was upset that why is this person doing this to me? And I understand that I told this person a while ago that I don't think we should be working together personally or professionally, because we're only going to hurt each other. So I already had made that commitment to myself that I need to close this chapter. But today they didn't take it nicely, and they, sometimes people act out in anger. And I'm not angry at them, because that's the reason of our friendship, was that we both knew each other's trauma, we both knew each other's pain. So when they acted out, even though I was upset, I constantly just said to myself, I exactly know why they're doing this, because they've gone through things that is triggering something. That is not my action, but it is triggering something for them. And as you said, Rebecca, much, before coming into the session earlier today, you guys know I'm in Australia, so it's 4 a.m. for me. Like, I decided in my day that, hurt people. And I actually posted about it on social media a few hours ago, because I needed to let people know something is changing. And I decided I am going to be the hurt person who's going to take that hurt, learn something from it, and find a way to support others, find a way to support myself, and find a way to let people know it's okay to hurt, but we do not need to keep hurting others or ourselves, and just find a way. As you may have noticed, Rebecca, I still struggle with the words forgiveness and healing. I still do not accept them. So far, how I see it is that all of this that happened today, I'm very glad to say that instead of reacting or getting angry or getting frustrated, I'm not going to be part of this cycle. I'm not going to go forward and get angry and hurt back. So I wrote them a very simple message saying, I know you're hurting. I know there's nothing I will say will help you believe that it's not me. But I also know that we're both hurting, and the only way I can do this is I need to let you go. I need to be that friend who gives you the space to work this out on your own, because this is not my burden to bear. And I need to now focus on the burden that I need to bear, and I need to understand, and I need to take care of, which is to finally love myself. There's one last thing I'm going to say, because as you guys were talking about, what I should be doing, there's a boundary that I created for myself. I don't know if you guys can read, but I wrote 2 statements that I decided last week I will never use. Does that make sense? And do you know what I mean? Because I realized those 2 statements are a lack of self-worth, are a lack of belief that what I'm saying is good enough, what I'm saying is valuable. And it's me seeking permission from somebody else to validate me. And what I realized was, what I'm saying, I have to say, because to people who it needs to make sense will make sense without me asking. And those are the people I need to work with. So that is the reason I have been watching your lives. I've been watching things. I've been scared to come in. And today I did, because I just told myself, I need to do this. You guys know when Patty, the first thing I said to Patty was, I don't know if I will stay. I don't know if I will share. I don't know if I will talk. And I may just leave. And because I love you, I'm telling you, Patty, that I may not be able to honor the whole setup, and I may just leave without saying anything. And I stayed for the most of it until the client I had to attend a client. But I've refused myself love for a long time. And it's so coincidental that I didn't know that you guys were doing this summit. I didn't know that this 3 days were happening. And, on the last day I come, but it's so coincidental that in my morning, I post about that I'm going to put myself first. And before I go to bed, I see you, live, and I see I didn't even know what the topic was. I just came. I didn't see anything. So I just came and just like, you know what? I know these people, they have been really nice and, you know, I met them. So I feel a little bit safer. And I walked in. And thank you. Because I need to heal myself. And I need to start today. And I don't know how you guys knew, but today's presentation was all about me. I'm going to be selfish and say, it was all about me for me. And it made me cry because I haven't ever felt this much important for myself, and I've never treated myself this way. And today, for the first time, I feel like there's no freaking way I'm putting anybody else before myself. And that's it.
Thank you, Sebastian, for sharing. Thank you for feeling safe enough to be with us today. I'm crying with you because I could feel it. And I'm just thankful you were able to come with us today and just share. And, you know, believe me, this beautiful message, this little first stone you've thrown in the pond is going to be a ripple effect. And you're going to see so many opportunities and so many changes in your life for the better now.
And your story is going to help others.
And your story is going to help others. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for being vulnerable. And thank you for feeling safe with us.
Thank you.
Vara had a message. I'm not sure if you saw.
Yeah, she said a message for
Thank
you.
you, Bara.
So beautiful, Sebastian, and very motivating. Thank you for sharing. That was from
Thank
Mary.
you, Bara. What you said, Bara, also helped me a lot because accepting and realizing that I've always felt like, why does my body react to certain things? I've always given it all different names, including medical names. But I know today, and I have known for a while, but I didn't have a phrase or a language for it. But Bara, which you gave me today, is that my body tells me. And when today I first time was able to, I have let go people a lot of times, but the first time today I was able to not get frustrated and decide that I'm just gonna love and leave, and I'm just not gonna be angry about it. There's something that I felt in my body. And as you guys were doing this, I don't know how to explain. So as you were closing the session, I felt some real strange, uneasy, it's not pain, but uneasy feeling in my thighs and near my knees. And what I want to tell you is, so I've never, until this moment today, I've never meditated. I've heard of it, I've listened, you know, everybody keeps telling me, I just laughed it off. And when you guys started, the only difference in last year and this year is that I came to the mind that I will at least try what it is. And when you first started, as you were saying, I was getting upset with myself initially in first 5 minutes because I was thinking, why am I not seeing the colors? What's wrong with me? Why am I not, whatever I'm hearing, why am I not experiencing it? And suddenly you said purple and I saw purple and I freaked out. I didn't understand, but I was. And even after that, there's a couple of things I didn't experience, but there are a couple of things I experienced and I saw, and there was something you were talking about, the light. It's funny you said a different shade, but I saw a kind of a mix of a blue and white and another color I cannot recognize, but it was color. It was not white or black. And I've never felt that before. And it just, I'm trying to now understand, or in fact, accept that I can experience and it can work on me. I just never allowed myself to. So thank you. I did not know until this moment that meditation actually does have, you actually feel it. I did not, it was just a word for me until today.
Yeah, and like I said, it could be something simple as 5 minutes. There is right now on Netflix, if you happen to have Netflix, there's a series called Guide to Meditation, and it's very simple. They're just 20 to 30-minute episodes, but the way he breaks it down, it's so beautifully made. I watched it
3 times by
three
this point.
times already
This
because
past week.
because I took so many notes from it. Like I know a lot of meditation, but he presented some other perceptions for me to play with, and like, oh, I didn't know I could do this too, or wow, this is amazing. So yeah, being open to other possibilities or other perceptions,
Trusting your intuition.
trusting your intuition really helps you get a better understanding of yourself. You know, why do I feel this way? Or what's going on? And there's nothing wrong with you. It's just we still have so much more to discover within ourselves.
Another tool maybe for you to consider is what's right about me that I'm not getting or understanding.
Yes. Mhm.
So if you want to say a more optimistic, switch that question
Mhm.
to something this. Like say when you catch those words, stories that play in your head, oh, I'm terrible. Okay, why am I terrible? Break it down, flip it around, look at it from different perspectives. That
Mhm.
might help you loosen up that chain or that heaviness that's locked in that we choose to hold on to. Kind of look back at it now. Maybe you didn't meditate by the definition of meditation, but I heard there's a lot of beautiful places in Australia, and I'm sure you've gone hiking or on the
Yes.
ocean. And do you lose yourself in thought almost?
All
Yeah.
the time. That's my way to disconnect. I turn off my phone. I just take my dogs, and that's a different world for me.
That's a different form of meditation.
Yeah.
As you watch the series, he does a great explanation of defining meditation just as a place where you define your mind.
Yeah. So yeah, there's different more forms of meditation, and there's different ways of doing it. And like, you know, what JB was expressing earlier, for him, it's running. You know, he can't sit still the way I can, and that's okay, you know. And
That's me. When you said that, that freed me because I always feel so bad about being fidgety and being like, I have several mental health issues, and you know, I have very long time ago accepted them, and that has been very helpful because anything that I accept helps me to actually balance it and work on it. So I think this was the most stable I've ever been in a chair. I don't do 10 minutes in a chair ever. So this has been so helpful, and thank you, Mia, and thank you, Vara, and you know, everybody. Even just to be able to share this space and kind of know that, I guess one thing that holds us all is the shame,
yes.
and just to not care about the shame and the ego and embarrassment, it's something I'm learning is such a beautiful thing because you just don't feel caged that you have to be a certain way. You just accept who you are.
Mhm.
Thank you guys. You have no idea. And I'm going to go and tell Patty because I'm working with her on many things. And I'm going to go and tell Patty about one thing that session was a great start for me, something. And that's how I met you guys. And
Mhm.
I was very scared, very scared. And I'm not anymore, you know. And yeah,
Well,
thank you.
you're
Thank you.
welcome. No, thank you for also being here with us. Thank you. Vera wrote down, shame about the shame even gets to me. Yeah.
Like I said, we're sharing like our challenges. Like we have these tools because we still experience them.
Yes.
But just kind of giving ourselves permission to just feel the motion because we're not robots. Feel it, but why get stuck in it? Let it flow like a
Yes.
cloud, a random thought. And then, okay, like you said, how could we leverage it to be assisting or contributing to the life
Mhm.
to help paint the picture of the experience?
Yeah, and that's an exercise I've been working with my daughter, because children, it's easy, especially when they're starting the changes in their life. She's going to be getting angry and resentful, like, what's going on? I don't like this, what's going on? And it's okay. And so I tell her, I'm like, yeah, I felt the same way, because she's like, Mom, did you go through this? I'm like, yep. I felt weird. I felt like, what's going on? Like, I don't think I asked for these body changes. I'm not prepared for this. And I told her, no one is ever prepared for changes, but it's learning to be like, okay, just sit with it every day, just sit with the change every day. And little by little, it gets a little bit better. And then little by little, you start adapting. And
Or like how you broke the cycle compared to your experience from your mother trying to share that transitional period.
I know, and I always share with her. I'm always honest with her. Like, I didn't know about periods, or I mean, that hasn't come, but she's very aware of what's going to be coming next,
She don't like it.
and she's not happy about it. But I said, neither was I. You think I really wanted that? No, I wish there was sometimes I have a beef to settle with God. Like, okay, why was this? What was this all about? Why do they get this and we get this? But it's okay to have those moments. And my daughter cracks up, like, you talk like that to God? I'm like, yeah, I was. I'm like, what's going on now? God, come on now. You couldn't make it a little simpler for me. And it's okay. It's okay. And it's okay to have that relationship. So many people be like, oh my God, you did that. I'm like, yes, I want her to feel free that she has even that kind of relationship with our higher source, or whatever that is. I want her to feel that freedom to be able to share and experience life. And I think that's what, in all honesty, I really feel that's what we're down here for. This is an experience for us, and then when we move on, it's another experience, and so it's just different experiences that we have to go through and learn so much about ourselves, and a roller coaster ride, but fun.
Just my little bit. Yeah, we are, one of my favorite quotes, and I can't remember the guy's name because he's French, but Pierre something, is we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yes. I love that
One of
quote.
my, yeah. And I also just wanted to share really quickly, because I know time is ending here soon. To go back to the original question, why is self-love important to me? I put down to be able to receive love, because I'm really good at giving it to others, and like nonstop. I wore myself out, but receiving it is much more difficult for me. So I'm learning that that's why self-love is important to me, along with honoring myself, honoring my inner child that I never took care of, and to be able to have a voice, because I didn't have a voice as a child as well.
Yes.
So those were the things that I put down. And I have, ever since I've been coming on to these sessions with you guys from the trauma series, I've been working on loving myself every day. And yesterday I was baking a cheesecake for my husband. And I left out an important ingredient, which was the vanilla, right? Which is it's the like one of a real important ingredient. And I found myself, I was beating myself up, like audibly. I was saying, oh, you're like, why you're so stupid for doing that, like why, and I'd been loving myself all week. And then this one thing happens where I have a slip up and I make a mistake, and then I'm all over myself, like beating myself up. And I realize very quickly why I'm having this behavior towards myself. Because yesterday I didn't give myself self-love like I was supposed to. Like it was a busy day. You know, I didn't do my body scan in the morning. I came on to see you guys late. I had to go, I had lunch with my husband. Then from there, we went to his parents' house. So it was like one thing after another, and I didn't stop to love myself. And that's why I found myself beating me up when when I made a simple mistake. So it does really make a huge difference if you don't take the time to make yourself a priority and to do self-care every day. Every day. It's very, very important.
Yeah, and and then I mentioned this in the first day. I could feel your throat, Mia. I was all like, oh, that's Mia. Since the first day, it's like you have to hold yourself accountable from this day till forever, because you will be evolving every day until you transition to wherever we go next, but it's you have to hold yourself accountable every day. And it's very important because it's for you, not for anybody else, but for yourself. So that was interesting. I could feel your throat.
And my throat hadn't been bothering me. and I didn't start getting that little tickle that I get where I feel like I have to cough and clear it. It didn't start bothering me until I started talking about how I beat myself up.
Yeah, I felt that. I felt it right there. So definitely you really need to focus when you do self-love, focus on your throat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So awareness, I beat
Mhm.
myself up. Now it's time to interview it or your
In
inner
which
child.
you interviewed it and realized right away why.
Now it's time to process how you want to forgive it.
Mm-hmm.
For a walk, fire, like I said, you'll figure
The
out
tea.
the tea, massaging it,
And
and then pretty much integration is just pretty much taking the action for that.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm writing down some things. I don't mean to.
That's perfect. That's perfect. That's what we're here for. But yeah, now that we spoke about it and we kind of process it, it feels so much better now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's how we work on clients, my husband and I. When we work on our clients, the minute I touch you or the minute I'm like attaching myself to you, I will feel everything you're feeling. I just, I don't know how to explain it, how I was born with this gift, but it's something that I've been doing since a child, and just being able to feel everyone. And sometimes it was very overwhelming as a child, and very hard sometimes to just feel all these emotions, especially when I had family members that were like feeling very hostile against me. That was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a daily practice. Like
Yeah.
recently, she's been feeling allergic reaction to pepper, and I'm realizing I enjoy putting, say, pepper on my eggs. So it was something that she was holding against me until we addressed it just the other day.
It was interesting because it was like the minute he brought up the eggs, I just looked at it and I'm like, I'm going to start sneezing. I'm going to start having this reaction. But then I did the work and I said, okay, you need to stop attaching yourself to that.
And it was just something simple. Like I wasn't addressing her. I wasn't really including her on my other stuff that she's not interested in. And because I kind of cut off that communication, her body reacted with allergies, attached it to an ingredient I enjoy putting on my food, which was pepper. And then like you can see how this all links together about really your body kind of telling you.
And then it was my body telling me that's bugging me. I need to address what was bugging me. And then I was like, once I addressed it, it was like, okay, I can release that attachment now. Yeah, but it's everything that we teach you guys, just know that that's work that we do on ourselves every day, because every day is a work in progress, and so I'm just happy that I'm able to share these tools and what I have to offer with everyone, just to give you that guidance that you need to be able to move forward and continue moving on and not be stuck. or feel like this is your life forever. Like, okay, I guess this is what how I'm supposed to live for the rest of my life. No.
So other than the Headspace meditation guide on Netflix, also consider looking at Less is Now, or it's pretty much a documentary, less than an hour, on minimalism.
Oh yeah, Netflix. Yeah, we
Right,
watched that yesterday.
right.
It's really good. I really enjoyed, because even though they were just focusing on
Physical,
that stuff
that technique.
energetically brings you physically down. It could bring health problems. We don't realize our environment, how it plays a part with our health too. And so I really like the document because you saw the changes within these two guys, just a simple act that they did of a different perception, a different view of life, and a change that they did, how it changed their lives
and the
relationships. And so it could be physical, chemical, environmental, emotional. There's so many things out there that can affect our health and our being. So it's very important to be very aware of everything, and just jot down, like, why every time I come into this room of the house, I'm not happy all of a sudden, or I'm grumpy. What changes do you need to make to that room to change that? Because some of us keep walking into that room and continue experiencing that feeling without doing something about it.
And we allow the environment to program us that we need to buy more stuff and fill in these spots. When realistically, is it really satisfying or fulfilling to kind of plug the empty space? Or do you need to shift the color? Do you need to shift an art? Do you need to shift your body or the purpose of the room?
No.
What shifts do you need to make for it to contribute back to you or be of value for you, so that you could be of value to society? Being the home is a space for you to kind of relax, recuperate, to eat, to sleep, whatever it is that you purpose your home versus your work office versus whatnot, a workout room.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely that's another tool. Something in your environment. I can feel it. Check your house, Mia.
Oh, you know what? It's funny. I was just going to say this, but my husband and I, since, we're moving to Portugal in 7-ish months, we are purging things. We're going through and purging things. And so we are adopting the minimalist way of thinking. And in a way, we're kind of being forced to do that because, we can't just possibly take everything in a 4-bedroom house. But it's a good feeling because I like to decorate and I like to have beautiful things in my home. And so I'm like being forced to let a lot of this stuff go. And you're right. There's something in this house. When I moved in here 2 years ago, I started getting those physical symptoms. And one thing I've identified is the Wi-Fi stuff, because my husband's a big techie guy, and he has TVs in every room. He has like the Wi-Fi in the room we spend the most time in. And I've identified too that like 5G stuff going on around me is also getting to me, because I'm very sensitive anyway, and I pick up on electrical stuff and people's feelings and all of that. But yeah, I've been trying to identify what is it in the environment.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that I have identified. But also I think it's all this stuff that we have hung up around our home.
Yeah, definitely do that work and you'll see changes, which it's just amazing. And Sebastian, you wanted to share something real quick?
I just want to share, as you guys were talking about the pepper, I just realized something, and this is medically huge for me. So I suffer with an allergy. It's a very strange allergy. Number one, I can go out in the sun all I want, but not in winters. If it is winter, I cannot go in the sun. I don't know what to call it. The doctor has not been able to identify it. It's not the dust allergy. It's not anything, but I literally want to throw my clothes off and I stand against a cold wall to calm my body. Like I feel like everything is burning, and I can, you know how the chicken pox is. For just a few seconds, my entire body looks like it has chicken pox. And then as soon as I'm against the wall or I drink cold water, in less than 2 minutes, I'm normal. But those 2 minutes are torture. And that allergy also happens if I'm too happy, if I'm too angry, if I'm too emotional, any extreme emotion. I just realized and got surprised in 2 hours. That should have happened to me 20 times. The way I felt, the way I shared, I should have been throwing my jacket. I should have been literally struggling and scratching myself all over. And I know this has been happening to me since age 13. So this is first time today that I've actually been so emotional, so emotional. And as you guys were talking, I just said, holy crap. I mean, I can tell you, I go off camera in so many things only because people can keep talking and I have to scratch and I have to drink water because I have to just calm down. And that didn't happen today. And I'm actually going to go. And the first person I'm going to tell is my mom, because we haven't figured out what is it. You know, we have cleaned the environment. When I moved to Australia, it got so much better, but it still never went away. And I realized every time I have extreme emotion of any kind, it happens. And today it didn't happen. It's the first time. I've never, I don't remember not at least once scratching really badly because I can't handle emotions. I'm scared of being emotional because I know it's going to happen and it's going to be in public. So I try to be as flat, if you will. And it's funny, I forgot that I have to be flat and I'm okay. And I feel different. I don't know how to explain it. I just don't have,
Amazing.
I don't know the words, honestly.
It's just self-awareness. You're now, you gave yourself, just by doing these exercises, you gave yourself, you took your power back and you gave yourself an opportunity to change something within yourself, which is amazing. And that's, you just proved the power of this work.
And again, just kind of my journey itself, when I started feeling stop suppressing my emotions, I started getting these weird sensations too that I can't label or explain what emotion it is. And so like sometimes it'll frustrate my wife. It's like, so what are you feeling? It's like, I don't know what it is. It feels like this. So you're feeling happiness? You're feeling love? It's like, I guess. Because I suppressed and never know what true love was. I had my ego and this kind of stuck in this creative, these powerful tools of our mind. We go in a creative state and that's supposed to be healthy, but I unfortunately created an unhealthy version of it within my creative mind, which then I falsified what emotions were or sensations in, which I never truly felt within because I suppressed it. So doing this work allowed me to start feeling it, and a lot of feelings I have no understanding what to call them. And I stopped trying to figure out, oh, this is frustration, or this is anger, or this is love, or this is self-worth. I stopped trying to label it and just, okay, just kind of breathe it in and allow it. When I get the knowing it's this emotion, then at that point I'll kind of address it, but not just kind of letting it flow. I'm not trying to label it. I'm not trying to define it. I'm just trying to.
I'm very happy right now. I didn't get the allergy. You have no idea how big this is for me. 2 hours and I have not for a second.
All right, so we went over time, and
That's okay.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
We're gonna just stop the live and the recording.
But yes, thank you for everyone who has joined in through this course. If you missed any of it, if you just became aware of it, just know that the recordings are there for you to go back, review it, listen to it again. Don't ever stop doing this work. We have other courses on the guides for chakra aligning, how to connect with your spiritual guides. There's so many courses that we have on our guides tab that you could look into and work with. And like I said, just take this time, just do a little bit. I understand we all have busy lives, but it's just 5 minutes every day, just 5 minutes for yourself every day. and you'll start seeing the changes. Like, just right now, what Sebastian said, 2 hours and you notice the change. Just taking this time, 2 hours with us. And so that's truly amazing. That's amazing work right there. And it's proof that our bodies are capable to heal. It's proof, and just know that's there. It's in there. You just got to dig in there, And those who do not have Facebook, we do have a YouTube link. I will be posting that up on the Meetup group, the people that have joined through Meetup. I will be posting up the YouTube links because my husband's been working on that. And so, yes, just keep an eye out. And I will also, what I'll do for all the Meetup people, I'll send a message through your message with all the links. So if you don't see it on the board, I will send it to everyone too. So thank you again. Thank you everyone for your presence. Enjoy this beautiful Valentine's Day, and know that just because it's Valentine's Day does not mean that this is the only day to love. Like I posted yesterday, we were celebrating our Valentine's Day, but we celebrate it today and every day because there's no official date to love,
Definitely. So
So
remember to stay healthy and breathe intentionally. Till next time.
thank you.